Hey, hey, Tracy, my love. How are you? Welcome back.
Thank you. What's up, these activists? How are you doing?
I am well, my friend, and we are now live, unlike
Everybody.
uh, a few moments ago. And while we're waiting, this is the first time that we've had a guest from the West Coast
Yep.
join us on the East Coast. Hence, why we pushed it back a little bit, but we know they had a full day with a photo shoot and then kids having to be put to bed. So we're going to give it a moment and kind of wait for them to join us. It's a great lineup if it works out. So, Tracy, yeah, fingers crossed. But if not, you know what? We got a whole lot to talk about. And we know that our plus one community, that's what we call you guys out there watching us every Thursday and engaging with us in the Facebook group, on the Facebook page, on the YouTube, on Instagram. We call you, of course, our plus one community, and we're only going to grow it. Let's talk for a moment, Tracy. Tell the people where you were last week.
Oh, did you show up?
For a brief moment. I paid my $5, showed up for a brief moment. I was like, wow, this is good. I hope to see more of it. I hope you guys get a chance to do more of that. Tell us about it.
So last week I missed the show because I was doing a professional reading, Zoom reading of Pearl Clegg's play, Bourbon at the Border. Guys, I have to be honest. I did this play at TSU back in 2021. And I was way too young to really understand what the play meant, and really understand the gravity of those characters. But now that I'm in my 40s, I totally understand. It's so poignant now, what those freedom fighters did back in the 60s, as far as like getting out the vote and really taking a lot of the abuse, a lot of them getting killed during that time, and those who were abused during that time and survived it, the mental issues that they dealt with. I mean, talk about post-traumatic stress disorder. What's up?
Yeah, McKee, you definitely stick around. Again, we're hoping that our guests can make it there on Pacific time, but I know that what Lizzie has to share will be of value to you significantly. So she's a major social media influencer, 93,000 followers, a lot of value to add. Tracy, here's a question that I have for you. And this is something that I've been grappling with and I've been thinking about. And really, viewers who are joining us, our plus one friends, this is something I've really been kind of struggling and thinking about. And, they're with us. Look, they put those babies to bed. Lizzie went and did that makeup. She was making some of those, what do you call them, sweet potatoes.
Ready.
No. Lizzie, I looked at the YouTube and I said, she's making sweet potatoes. No. I was like, oh my God.
I was ready. Okay.
It was easy.
That ain't me this time.
My web browser was like access denied. I was like, so I had to go in and change the settings and do all that. I was like, what's going on? So
Russian interference. It was Russian interference, audience. That's exactly what the problem was.
I'm Miss Technical in the house, so I had to go through. I actually had to read the instructions. Issa wanted to just be like, hold on, I can manpower through this.
She saved me. Whatever.
Well, you guys look great, and welcome to the 3+1 live cast. We are so thankful, and this is an even bigger deal than what I knew, right? So I'm gonna talk about that momentarily. I'm like, this is too big to have both of them on this. I need to have them both separate. I have so much to say and so many questions. I wanted to wrap this point up, Tracy. What I was asking was, what I've been grappling with for everybody watching is that when we started the new era of Black Lives Matter protesting, and our young brothers and sisters who really took the charge to lead this work were really doing things very different than what they did in the 60s.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the evolution of the movement. But now we're 3 months into this work and we see the negative consequences of how they've taken our actions and they twisted them and they're using it against us every single day. And it is now becoming, as what started as a small echo or whisper against Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris has now become actually a full-grown assault. And they're using Black Lives Matter and the protest and all that has come to the protest against Black people as well as against the Democratic Party. The question I was going to ask you, and what I'm grappling with, Tracy, is this. Do you feel, especially after having just done this huge play last week, this great reading, that we're making a mistake, that we maybe should have used more of the peaceful protest actions of the 60s in what we're trying to do now?
No, I'll never say that we're making a mistake. What I will say is that we need an identifiable leader of the movement. We don't have an identifiable person. And I think that what made the 60s so powerful is that we had one band, one sound. We were all marching to the same beat. And so that's where that I feel like we're going wrong, is that we have Black Lives Matter movement over here, and then we have another segment of it over here. And it's just really muddying the real point that they're trying to drive. So we were talking about a play that I did last week. I missed last week's episode. It's called Bourbon at the Border. And one of the lead characters, I don't want to give everything away, but the lead characters, husband and wife, they were part of the civil rights movement, the voter registration movement of 1964. And the Freedom Riders, and the male really suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder as he got older, and it was something that we really don't talk about. But he ended up going back after he dealt with some mental issues coming out of a hospital and all of that. He ended up kind of vindicating himself, and he did some things to people that he thought would have been, from 1960s. He ended up killing them because that was his way. He was like, I should have done it then.
Yeah, you gave it all away. You gave it all away.
Well, they're not gonna read it, so I got to tell you. I couldn't hold my mule.
We read over here.
I couldn't hold my mule.
Thank you. Tell her again.
I ain't got no time to read, so I'm glad you told me.
But look, enough about that. I want to introduce. Can I do it? Can I do it today?
Do it.
Yes. So Candy, you're right. Yes, absolutely. It all was working together at the exact same time. The Black Panther movement started in the 60s, and it really took root a little throughout, and it actually was going strong right before Dr. King was assassinated, and it was all kind of coalescing. And a lot of people don't know. And the book is called, I have the book right here. I'm going to just slide over and grab it.
Slide it in.
And so this is the book, Candy. It's called At Canaan's Edge. Taylor Branch is a white professor, and he is the authoritative biographer of Martin Luther King Jr. He's the most extensively researched scholar of Dr. King's work. And in this book, he talks about he wrote a trilogy on Dr. King. The last book is called At Canaan's Edge, and it goes up in the last years of his life, and it talks about how his beliefs changed drastically. So right now, when you hear so many people quoting him to attack the Black Lives Matter movement, it has absolutely no relevance to the real philosophy that Dr. King actually practiced and believed. Totally different. The man he was the year he was assassinated was a very different man. In the same way that Malcolm X was different after his trip to Mecca, Dr. King was different after he moved into what was called the Poor People's Movement, fighting for economic equality. It's one thing to say we want racial equality, which at one point everyone could get on board with. To then say we don't only want economic equality, we don't want just racial equality. We also want economic equality. That was what was the major issue. And that was where a lot of division took place. So that book is a deep book. It's a long book. It's a hard book to read, but I firmly recommend that you read it if you get some time. So it was two different movements, but not really. It was kind of similar. And like what we have now, also kind of similar. So you're right. It was fighting capitalism. You're absolutely right. So with that being said, we will jump into the heart of the interview. Tracy, I'm going to actually start this off with a question for you before we go into a question for our guests. And this is the question. How did you find, am I saying it right, Issa?
Yeah.
How did you find Issa and Lizzie to bring them to us? Because I've been amazed through my research. So you tell me that.
Okay.
How did you bring them to us?
So back in 1997, 98, okay, I had the pleasure of meeting at Tennessee State University. He played football for my dad, and just a really cool dude then. He's still a cool dude now. And I followed his career after college, and we were like, Issa's a supermodel now. And, you know, yeah, absolutely. You were a supermodel to us. You were modeling Sean John and Tommy.
No, I was. No,
okay. He's a supermodel.
That's a supermodel. I mean, it is what it is.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Over the years, he and I would remain in contact because coming out of TSU, he and I chose different career paths than most of our peers. I'm in the entertainment business, and he's in the entertainment business and the arts as well. And so we would just kind of keep up with each other and kind of ask questions about the industry and just keep each other encouraged. Yeah. And then I knew he was dating this beautiful, beautiful woman, but I never met her. But he would always talk so positively about her. And after they got married and social media became a thing, just started following the two of them. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all are relationship goals to me. Okay. I really do.
We work hard on this. We work hard. It's the hardest job you will ever do in your life.
We're gonna talk about it. Look, I got some questions. We got some questions about it, but I do want to tell everyone to follow Issa on Instagram. He's not gonna follow you back because he's not gonna follow you back, but that's okay. He doesn't have to. Issa has 46,000 followers, and he's only following 930 of the people back. But that's okay. You still follow him because you will see an amazing Instagram feed that's well curated that gives you some insight and how you should also kind of curate your Instagram feed, especially if you are, interested in a career in modeling. So I'm actually a little bit, now I'm a little bit sad because if Issa was in school with you, Tracy, at Tennessee State, that means that he's around my age and he looks like that, but I look like this.
Hey.
Fountain of youth.
We holding this together. We are holding it together.
And so and that kind of goes into the first question. The first question I have is, and Tracy, you jump in all throughout, but my first question is, Issa, is this a result of genetics? Or is this a result of real work? I know work plays into it, but be honest. Because, I'm genetically fat. And so I have had to work super hard.
You need to
quit.
No. I think everyone who's watching knows. You guys don't know, but everyone who's watching knows. I lost a total of 68 pounds on Weight Watchers.
Congratulations!
It's a daily battle. I can't even eat a chocolate chip cookie. I can't smell a chocolate chip cookie without turning to a chocolate chip cookie. So, Issa, is this a result of genetics or hard work?
I would say both. So, my dad always has this thing. He always talking about. He said, "Oh man, you got this body because of me." And I'd be like, okay, man, you can't even take your shirt off no more. So please stop talking to me. But I would say it's both because my mom has a very, she was very thin frame. My dad was a very thin frame. So I say genetics plays, I would say if I had a number on it, I would give it at least, 80%?
Oh, no. I mean, listen.
No, don't you think?
Yes and no. I don't know. I think that I think some of it is genetics, but Issa also does a really good job.
I do a really good job of maintaining. And also, the only bad thing I do, and this is just honest, and this is why I have to watch my blood sugar levels. The only thing I do, I eat way too many snacks at night. I'm notorious for 10 o'clock going in there, eating sugar. The sugar thing that's what can mess me up. I am sugar, snack. But throughout the day, I am good. I'm so disciplined throughout the day. But if I'm up past 10 o'clock, it's a wrap.
Well, he got all them wellness things on his site. You check it out. He does all.
But during the day, that's what it is. It's better. I have very good discipline.
Right.
So that's why I go to bed at 10 o'clock.
He has discipline right up until 7 o'clock.
Correct.
Now, how much, Lizzie, do you play in helping him to maintain a healthy diet? Because I've seen you throw down on the page, okay?
The dude would not eat without me. I got you. He would not eat. His meals would consist of scrambled eggs and grits and maybe rice.
See, that's
Well, he
my
is
point.
from Alabama.
Okay.
But that is not enough to survive. Like, and plus we had a whole full family over here, 3 kids,
Yes.
husband, wife. I mean, he cannot no. So
And
yeah,
my 8-year-old, she can eat now too.
she can.
She be
But
fine.
I never knew how to cook before I met him.
Oh yeah. Didn't know
So,
I could
Issa,
cook.
No.
What part of
I-
Alabama are you from?
Oh,
Eufaula, Alabama. Are you from Eufaula?
No, you follow. Hey, I've been there before too. But anyway, no, I'm from Birmingham.
Okay.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
Yep. Which is, it's an interesting city. It's small enough but big enough where it's close
It's
knit though.
historic though.
It's very
It
historic.
is. It's historic and it's exceptionally segregated. So I do business in the area, and I had no idea about their school. I'm a former educator. I'm a veteran of education who then transitioned into educational sales, and so I had no idea about the different school systems all in the city of Birmingham, but they're not Birmingham City schools. Like Homewood, Batavia Hills, like
Yep.
whole communities just broke apart to create their own schools to avoid, integration. I thought that was unfortunate, but has
It's
led to
interesting. It's interesting because like when I was growing up, like I didn't know anything different. So let's just say as far as like, I never went to school. So funny anything. I went to Auburn for 2 years and then I transferred to Tennessee State. So I never went to school with white kids until I got to college. So it was very different. When I tell you not one. And it was just different for me when I, as an 18-year-old going into college, going, wow, this is different. Like I never went to school with white kids. But I think that in itself made it challenging for me because it just wasn't something I was used to navigating. I didn't know how to navigate that arena. And that's why when I finally went to Tennessee State, I felt a little more comfortable as a person as well. So,
Well, what was it like once you graduated Tennessee State? Did we lose them?
Maybe. No.
What was it like once you graduated and went to New York and got into a predominantly white field? Like that is a culture shock.
I think for me going to New York was, how can I put this? It made me number one, I like the fact that I was much more grounded, I would say, than a lot of people who were there. And that's probably because of my upbringing. A lot of people kind of like were used to that fast-paced lifestyle and doing different things. And me being who I am, as far as like just always being a very grounded person, I think I took that to New York and I took that to being to my modeling career. And just knowing that I was gonna stick out anyway, like I would be at fashion shows where I was like the only black guy, very good fashion shows, and certain shoots. I'll pretty much be the only black guy on set. That would be photographer, that would be production, that would be everything.
Yeah.
So, that in itself was interesting just because it made me, that was another step for me learning how to navigate things. Because you have to play this game, because you're trying to get hired. But it's like, when I first started, it wasn't a lot of black guys, and it started to get more and more and more. So then you start to get even more competitive because, there's just not a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
Especially in the modeling world, it was even. I think it's worse than acting as far as like jobs, because with modeling, it's just like you might have a campaign or something come out, and it doesn't happen enough. It's only like 2 seasons, so for you to get jobs, it's a big deal.
So how did you meet Lizzie?
Well,
Because Lizzie, did you go to Northwestern? And I said, yeah. So you were in Chicago. I went to
Okay,
DePaul.
somebody doing their research, huh?
No, I knew you.
Here on the 3+1 live cast, we do our research. We do our research here.
Issa and I are friends, okay? When I say he would talk about you all the time, he adored you when you all were dating. Look, I know all about you, girl. Tell me something. Tell me how you met.
It's
Sure.
crazy. So we met really random. So he was roommates with a good friend of ours named Trina,
she went
actually,
to Tennessee State.
who went to TSU as well. And she and I were working on a job together, and he came by just to say hi to her, just say what's up, on set. And it was really quick, and we might have like said hey.
Yeah.
But I was shooting at the time. He was just like background, kind of like, like just not background.
Background.
He was just like what I'm saying behind the scenes, just saying what's up to her.
Yeah.
And then it was really quick. And so then like maybe like a week later, we saw each other at a birthday party, like an industry birthday party. As a matter of fact, anybody who know, we all know who it is. It was Little X. His name was Little X at the time, but his name is Director X now, right?
I don't know.
It is, yes.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, it was Little X's birthday party, and we saw each other. And he kept on looking at me like from across the room, and I was like talking to my girls, and I'm like, dude, like this dude keep on looking at me, like dang, like either just come over or just don't say nothing, but he just kept looking at me, so we kept on making eye contact. And finally, he walked over to me. We had an amazing conversation. It felt like we had known each other forever.
The first time, though. The first time.
This is the first time.
No, I walked past you.
Oh my God!
That's the best part.
Okay. So when he walked in the spot, he walked right past me, and I felt like he looked really familiar. And I was like, don't I know you from somewhere? And he looked at me, y'all, and said, yeah, maybe. And kept walking. So anyway.
It was funny, though, now thinking back on it, because I'm a very shy person, and I was nervous. So when I walked in, I was like, oh, yeah, maybe. And I was just like, oh, like a robot. Keep walking. I don't know.
Look, let me tell you this. In school, Issa was quiet. He was cool. Like all the girls wanted him, and he didn't want them because he was like, "No, y'all not gonna get me." Okay, he was a good man, So what you saw was not him being arrogant. He was being shy. He was just being true to himself, man. And
we talk about it. Sorry, and we talk about it all the time. He was like, "Yeah, I had to go check out the scene. See who else was there. Blah blah blah." Then he circled back, started staring at me, and then he came over. We started talking. We had a great conversation. It was honestly like we had known each other for years. Like when I kid y'all, it was like years. And at the end of it, he goes, "I know this sounds really crazy, but you're gonna be the woman that I marry."
Yeah.
They say you don't know.
So I'm gonna tell you, so let me tell you how I know it's true, because I just instantly knew, like instantly. I called my mom that night at 3 a.m. I said I met my wife, and then my mom told her that day on our wedding day.
Yeah, his mom didn't tell me that. We dated for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
His mom didn't tell me that until our wedding day, and was like, "Lizzie," he called me that night at 3 a.m. and said he had met his wife.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years now. What was taking you so long?
We were young. We were young.
I mean,
we were young, and we really believed from the jump. We were like, we are not coming into a marriage with any debt. We are not coming into a marriage with any issues. We are not coming into a marriage with anything. So we worked out a lot of stuff. I mean, we just we dated. We got to know each other. We, figured out what life would be like. We, we did a lot of stuff.
We were both traveling a lot at the time.
Yeah, we were both modeling and traveling. We were both always separate places. We were living bi-coastal in New York and LA for a while. Yeah. And then, so it was just a lot happening. And we knew that we also wanted to pay off our school debt and come into a marriage super clean. And we knew what it was going to be. And so we were very serious about it. And
that's admirable, because I've never been married. But I know this thing is called the 7-year itch. Have y'all ever heard of that?
The 7-year itch, where you get 7 years and you be like, okay, I'm done.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, married couples go through this thing where the honeymoon phase is over. And I like to say it's because we don't do the right vetting when it comes to relationships. We don't vet our relationships properly. It's just not enough. Now that I'm older, I understand you cannot just be in love. You have to like this person. You have to know them in and out. You know what I'm saying? So I admire that for you all to have that maturity at that age. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, because relationships go through the ebbs and flows. What are some of the ways? How do you all work out those ebbs and flows?
I talk a lot.
He does.
When I say a lot, I talk a lot. I might not talk to people out in public, but in private, I am probably I mean, the mouth don't stop moving.
And I don't talk a lot.
And she doesn't talk a lot.
I talk a lot in public, and then when we get home, I be like.
I mean, it's like cricket.
Yeah. So it seems like Issa is an introvert, and Lizzie, you're the extrovert. And that's why in public you're constantly giving all that energy, and then at home you're depleted.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite.
Correct. The girl get home, she be like,
I'm done. I'm done.
take a nap.
They want me out, baby.
Let the whole world want me out. I'm like, I'm here.
Now, what are the horoscopes there? What are our zodiac signs?
Capricorn.
Leo, baby.
Okay, that's a very good, interesting match, but a good match.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's what it is. I mean, but I think communication is super important for us.
Yeah.
Like I said, he does a lot of the talking, and I do a lot of the responding. But I'm glad that he does, because for him to be who he is and what he's gone through, like even how he's been raised and everything, he does a really good job of communicating his feelings. So he knows how to take it up here and out. Like, he's very good at that. Me, I internalize a lot of things. I keep a lot of things here and here, and sometimes I'm not good with the verbal. And he's really good at that, and he's kind of taught me along the way to just, Lizzie, it doesn't matter how you say it sometimes, you just got to get it out. And so we've worked through that a lot. And I think in understanding that and understanding sometimes how it comes out may not be the right way, but it's the way that I have to get it out, so it's not just living in here, is a great way for us, I think, that we've moved past things.
Yeah, because my issue is I don't say it the right way all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
He talk crazy.
I'm off the
I
cuff.
don't talk at all.
Not
Figured
Issa.
it out.
I'm off the cuff.
I don't
But-
believe you. Issa can do no wrong in my eyes.
Clearly.
So Issa and Lizzie.
You came on the wrong damn show. That's today.
Oh, no. I'm on your side. I'm on your side, Lizzie. Trust me.
Now, we have a lot of people. There are people who are watching that want to pursue careers and do exactly what you're both doing. But before we go into that, because one, I didn't know that you guys both, you both went to college. So what did you major in?
I mean, communication.
And I majored in communication. Yeah.
Very good, which is actually makes a whole lot of sense for what you're both doing. So we talked about following Issa earlier. You also need to follow Lizzie. Lizzie has it's on IG. She ain't gonna follow you either, but
Hey,
she has 93,000 followers, and she has developed an amazing space in the lifestyle industry as a real, true, genuine influencer. There are very few people that have a brand as organized and as concise as this. And this is what impressed and shocked me, right? Like, I knew, because, Tracy knows Issa, so I'm like, oh, we're getting a real bona fide supermodel here who's done a lot of great work, some excellent campaigns. He's forged a career, fitness enthusiast. That's going to be a great, great interview. Then I go and look at Lizzie, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I took the time, I looked at this brand, and I'm like, this brand is phenomenally curated. Every single piece, and your YouTube, and I'm not a YouTube person. That's why our YouTube probably sucks, because I'm not the kind of person who puts a lot of energy on YouTube. That's not the platform I put energy into yet. It'll come eventually.
Soon come.
But your YouTube, I was like, you have all elements of a beautiful Black lifestyle brand. I know there may be other people in that space that have done it as well, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not found anyone yet who I've not found one person who's done it as well as where I've seen yours be curated, from the cooking. No, I'm serious. And I was like, I was very impressed. I watched the sweet potatoes, and I'm like, you even had a relation. It was very relatable. Even the way, as stunning as you look, as organized as you are, it looks so authentic. Like, I listen for stuff like that. I'm listening for all those elements. I was very impressed. So I want you to tell us, like, how did you decide this is where you wanted to put your energy to build this space?
The most simple answer is I had kids. So I was, as you know, because we just said, I was modeling for a very long time, and that led me into acting, and we moved to LA, and I was on set or traveling literally like 3 times a week, and it was hard, but it was fun. I loved it. It was like exciting. I was traveling all the time, and then we got pregnant, which we wanted to. We planned it.
We
but
Wait, weren't you in that Denzel film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was you. I kept looking like I seen her face before. You played his daughter.
Look, now that girl, she had some booty shorts and a Hooters girl, but I know that's her.
Yeah, what was the name of the film? Tell the
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
And even if it wasn't planned, don't you say that, because we don't want it to be like Kanye West when he dropped the bomb talking about he and Kim didn't even want the baby. Don't do that.
No, we planned out all of our kids. Planned out all our kids. But in doing that, when I had my daughter, listen, things changed. My desire to want to travel so much changed. I was playing roles where I was like 18 all the time, no matter how old I really was. I was always 18. And so because of that, I think the industry starts to see you differently when you have kids too. And so I knew also when I was pregnant, there was no one in the space that I could turn to talk about all things life of motherhood, who was also married, who seemed like they were happily married, who had a family, who loved their family, who it was almost like every time we walked into a room, we were the elephant in the room, and people would be like, "Y'all married? You have kids?" Like it was almost like weird that we were even a family. And so for me, I knew, because we were Black and because people just didn't see Black people in that way.
Yeah.
And so for me, I found it very important in that moment to give myself a voice and to give women of color, Black women who were married with kids, who loved being a mom and loved working and still loved all these things, a voice. And so I started my site, and that was the first thing I did. And so when I started my site, Issa and I would play around with it. We were trying to figure out the back end on things. I mean, it took a while. And then slowly but surely, I know I wanted to have a voice in this space. So not just a site, but I wanted to use everything that I learned from modeling and acting and all those things, and being in front of the camera and being someone else, to now apply to really speaking to the women who I wanted to speak to, and really sharing my story about being, this face of these people that they didn't think that we existed. And so that's how it all started. And now it's manifested into kind of a thing of its own. And now I just love sharing a lot about myself. I love sharing fashion and beauty, but my passion is food, and my passion is my family. And and so now it's great. And now I started the YouTube page, and it's showcasing all those things. So it's been good. It's been a good evolution.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Are you going to give us a cookbook?
Yes. So actually, I'm in talks right now to do a cookbook, and it's gonna have a really great angle to it. But yes.
I can't wait. Maybe I'll get me somebody.
Tracy, you can always cook for me.
I can cook, but I need to know how to do it.
No, you don't cook for me. I've only had the fish once. It was the best fried fish I've ever had. So I'm waiting.
Ooh, I need to
Now you know that I'm corona free, so you can invite me over anytime. In this house, people are tested every 2 weeks because of their jobs. So you know that ain't no corona up in 2900. So I will be over as soon as you invite.
Absolutely.
Issa, there are people who are watching us right now who really aspire, because as a former teacher, a lot of my old students watch, and some of them aspire to have a career in modeling. How do you even do that?
Okay, simple answer here. First, I always tell people, when you are looking for an agency, start at the top and do some simple pictures. That's all I did. So I had some simple pictures. Let's say, don't do anything over the top. So I had a picture in a white t-shirt and some jeans. White t-shirt, jeans, and you take a headshot, model headshot. You try to look cool. You take waist down, and you take full body.
No, waist up.
I mean waist up. Sorry, I said waist down. Waist up.
That's for OnlyFans.
That's for OnlyFans. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Whole nother kind of model, brother. Whole other kind of model.
Whole nother side hustle. But then, so you take full body, and then for most guys, you want to take one jean shirt off. That's it. You send those pictures around, and you make the phone calls, and you hope and pray somebody says yes.
Okay.
Well, a lot on the agency's websites too. They'll have emails or something. That
And the funny thing now, which when I was first starting out, now they tell people to send their pictures into their social media. They'll have them DM them. And I've seen few guys actually get discovered that way. Because really, when I got discovered, I was dropping my sister off at school in New Orleans, and they was having some modeling convention. They were like, "Hey man, I think you can be a model." I was like, "Yeah, whatever," and I kept walking. But I mean, it turned out too, guy's card, we kept in touch and everything, and he was actually being truthful. But I didn't know that because I didn't know anything about it. But nowadays, it's much easier for people to get discovered. The only problem I would say nowadays is that it's just much more saturated. So it's easier to be seen, but I think it's harder to get representation.
Only supermodels, by the way, get discovered. Just wanted to let y'all know that. Only supermodels get
Whatever.
discovered.
Like Issa.
Whatever.
I was Issa.
Like-
That was funny.
I don't know your story. How did you get discovered? Because I didn't know. All of us were like, Issa's a supermodel. Hey,
No,
you heard Issa's a
no,
supermodel?
because they are really looking. No, they really are. They like when they say they have scouts, they really do have people like walking around malls, like traveling the world. They really do. It's not a joke. And I know some of these people. Like they act because really, honestly, you gotta think about it. It takes nothing for them to start a career, right? All they have is some pictures and they might, I don't know, like send your pictures out. But for them, that's money in their pocket if they just walk around and find somebody. So it's a hustle too. You know what I mean? The more top talent you find, it's just more money in your pocket. And all you gotta do is walk around the street or get on the plane.
What are they looking for though? Because I had a friend. I gotta tell this story. I had a friend who told me he wanted to be a model.
Okay.
He's 40 years old.
Yeah.
And I snapshot your picture because he was like, "What do I do?" I snapshot a picture. I said, "This is my friend. He's a supermodel. You need to look like that."
Well, listen. Definitely, they are looking for a. Let's say now. Listen, but I think nowadays even more so, it's all types of models, right? Like who do really well. I think who's the best. Some of the best models who do really well now are plus size girls.
Yeah.
I mean, that business is crazy.
Yeah.
And they even have plus size guys. Like they have so many different things now.
Yeah.
And and when I tell you, yes, it is a serious. If you take it seriously, if you treat it like a job and not like a fun time that you're taking pictures, it's a career. Like we have been able to support our families. We have savings. We have IRAs. We do these things. But because we take it seriously. But as far as what they're looking for, nowadays I think it's everything. Literally everything, because you don't know what people want until comes across in that photo. And I always tell her, because we go back and forth about taking pictures, I said when you're taking a good picture, you want to evoke a feeling from somebody. That's what makes models good. Wow. You have to evoke a feeling through that picture. It's different when you're on camera, as Tracy would know as an actress, because you have a chance to evoke that. You have a chance to give that and show that. But when you're a model, it has to all come through just that one photo. And it's very difficult to do. So
it is. And Candace always says, she comes for me in our comments. She said that's messed up. But let me explain why I sent your picture to him. Okay. It was because his work, he didn't have the real work ethic. He looked and was like, "Oh, I just want to be a model." There was no real passion behind it. Like when people ask me how to become an actor, I'm like, well, why do you want to become an actor? Do you think it's easy? Are you trying to do it because you want to be famous? And I knew the work ethic was not there. The passion wasn't there. It was something that he thought might be easy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, look, this guy's been doing this for 20 years. This is a career. This isn't a hobby. This isn't something that we just pull out of our asses one day and we wake up and say we want to do this. Yeah. We go to school. We have to study. It's just, So I'm sorry, Candace. I make her mad every week because I say something like that. But I mean,
I don't make you mad, Candace. So it's fine. I know you watch just for me anyway, so don't worry about it. Woo! I'm joking, Tracy.
I heard. Trust me.
Candace loves us all equally. But here is, and I think you hit on a great point, Tracy, when you said that it is work. In the same way that being a model is work, so too is being an influencer. Mm-hmm. And so, Lizzie, there are a lot of people, I have 3 questions for you. I'm gonna start with the first question. If you could describe your brand in one word, what would it be? You only get one word. Describe your brand for us in one word.
Um, Relatable. Yeah, that's something I
And then
always
you're
try to
curating
do.
a relatable brand.
Just a relatable brand across the board.
I
Yep.
would agree.
That's
There are a lot of people,
that's the
exactly
word
as
you used, though, Zach. What was the word you used when we were talking about Lizzie prior to
Oh,
the
he did say relatable.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. When he said it, I was like,
Yep,
Yeah.
and that's
it's
exactly
working.
how it comes across. I mean, I was immediately hooked. I was drawn in, and I'm like, oh, Lizzie Mathis is big, and this is only going to get bigger. Like I read a lot of magazines, and I don't even know the lady's name. But her magazine is Magnolia. It comes out once a month,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's like,
Yeah.
that's you all day. Like I see that is who the two of you. I can see that brand, like, but you making it right. So we go from Magnolia to Mahogany.
That's
So
right.
There you go.
Relatable. Can
so they're right, but here, so it is a job for Tracy as an actress, and it's a hard job. Like I know that from being her friend and knowing her. You know, Issa, I know it's also hard being a model. It's not what people think. You just show up, you take a picture, and you go. It's an all day process. So too, Lizzie, is it's an all day process as an influencer. What is one thing that you wish people that you would, if you would have known the very beginning? What's the one piece of advice that you would give to anyone who wants to be a social media influencer or a lifestyle influencer? What's one piece of advice that you wish you would have known before you even started going down this road that has benefited you now?
I got it. I know.
What is it?
Know when to hire more people.
Yeah,
Mm.
I still haven't learned that yet, so that's not it. I can't even
I
speak
mean,
on it.
I'm just saying.
Because
I think
I'm
that's
still
something to
figuring
talk
out.
about.
That's one thing I'm learning now. But what I learned in the beginning, I think would just be to take it seriously, right? Like I think one thing that modeling and acting taught me was to be professional. Always be professional, and
Yep.
that doesn't change no matter if I'm hosting something, if I'm doing content, if I'm working with brands, if I'm doing my own thing, whatever it is, it's just to be professional. So answer the emails, reply back to everybody if you can. Make sure you stand by your word. Make sure you get your things on a deadline, like those sort of
Deadlines are
things.
important.
Because I work with a lot of brands, and that's the one thing I think brands really respond to. They like the fact that you're on top of things, and that you're when you say it, your word matters. That the concept that you said you're going to create comes to fruition. Like, so that's what I would say. It's just
And
your
I would
brand.
also say, just for her, I think the creative part, I think, is a big deal too.
Yeah.
Like the really good influence, I think they're just very creative. It's
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
you're very creative.
Try new things.
Yeah.
That's what I would say too. Try new things. Don't be stale and follow what everyone else is doing. I think the true influencers who really do the best are the ones who aren't afraid to go outside the box.
Risks taken.
Risk
What's
taking.
one outside of the box thing that you've done that you would say you didn't think you would love it or you didn't think it would be successful and it worked?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what I did the other day, which I was so out of the box with. Issa was over here taking pictures of me one evening, and he was like, just being photographer Issa, just loving to take pictures. And I was like in my robe and blah blah. And then I was like, oh, I kind of like this picture, and I posted it. And then right after I posted it, I was like, damn it, I shouldn't have posted that picture. I just didn't feel like it was super in line with my brand and what I do all the time. But Issa's always pushing me to go outside the box. Issa's always pushing me to just expand, Lizzie. Don't stay so closed off. And I appreciate that so much from him because he really does he encourages me to go further. And
It's
so
okay to be, sometimes I think as women, when you have kids and stuff like that, I always tell it, it's okay to be sexy.
right.
It's okay, to do that sometimes for yourself. Sometimes it does something to you as well. It's okay to be sexy, it's all right.
Yeah, but anyway, it turned out fine. But I was like, that was one thing. But mostly, I think the YouTube page. The YouTube page is a thing that I was so hesitant about doing, and it just was not in my wheelhouse. It was not in my box. I knew it was going to be a time commitment. I knew it was going to, take a lot to edit things, and I knew it was just going to take a lot of time and energy into it. And the way I wanted it done, I put it off for so long. And so a couple months ago, actually during quarantine. I started a YouTube page, and so I'm so happy with it. Though it's exactly where I wanted it to be 3 years ago.
So since the quarantine, what have you all discovered about yourselves, about your family? What new has happened?
I would say our desire to create a business, right? So I know this is a business too, but I would say an outside business, like something that we could, how can I put this? How do you say this? Like sell or?
Yeah, just like expand what we're doing with our brand.
We want to develop products and things like that. So I think that in itself, the entrepreneur part of it, it's another level of it to it now. I think that's what, as far as the business side, and with our family. I mean, listen, we love spending time with our kids. We love doing stuff together. So I mean, we just do it more. I mean, we did it beforehand.
We leaned all the way in.
We leaned all the way in now. But I am ready for them to go back to school. I don't know when the hell that's gonna happen.
Leave them babies alone. Let them stay home.
I have no idea.
You come over here and take care of the babies.
What? I'll see y'all. Good night.
I would like to say that I think the thing that I took away most from this quarantine and like everything that's happened is to, especially with everything that has occurred, right? From Black Lives Matter to Kobe to Chadwick Boseman to everything that has really affected our community, especially. And I thought about this weekend. This weekend I had a rough weekend, and I was just like, you know what? More than anything, I've taken away the fact that now is the time to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
You don't know when your time is going to be. No one could have predicted 2020 would look like this. Everyone went into 2020, especially because it was 2020. Everybody was like, oh, this is my year. I'm going to pop off this year. This is going to be the year I do this. And then everything happened and people were just like halted in their tracks in so many different ways. And so this year, I told myself, I was like, if I've learned anything from this whole situation, it's just to appreciate the ones you love. Honestly, hold them tighter than you ever have before. Be healthy, be happy, and truly go after what you want in this life, because you get one go at it and you don't know when that go is over.
Yeah.
So you need to maximize everything.
But you know what?
You better preach.
Yeah, and this is something that is like my absolute mantra, and you hit it, you said it, but you don't know you said it. Earlier, you talked about you mentioned the word manifest.
Yeah.
And you just said 2020, everybody said 2020 is my year. 2020 is gonna pop, my life is gonna pop off, and my life is gonna be what I want it to be. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
It's just not happening the way you thought it was gonna happen. Everybody out, this is the thing. There are, I want to say 1 point something million people who are now unemployed, because guess what? That 1 point something million people were in a job where they weren't meant to be in that job, and they wanted better, and they have manifested better, but it doesn't happen overnight. God doesn't work that way. It takes time. If you're giving birth to puppies, you're going to have puppies in 9 months. In 3 months. If you're giving birth to an elephant, it's going to take you 2 years to gestate. The bigger the dream, the bigger the work, and the bigger that God has to move, and the universe has to for him to set the universe in motion to conspire in your favor. So people now are doing things that go outside their box. People are expanding themselves and expanding their networks and getting things in order to live the life that they're meant to live. And that's what's happening. Is it inconvenient? Absolutely. Is it uncomfortable? Absolutely. Is it something that's making us, uncomfortable and, even unhappy? Absolutely. But is it going to lead to us having a better life, maybe even the best life that we imagine? Absolutely.
Yep.
I like that.
I love that.
I love that too.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's the Zactivist.
Yeah.
Hey, Rosie Perez.
Yeah, we can actually join us, Rosie. We love you, girl. We love your work. And you guys know somebody else's work that we love on this 3+1 podcast.
Yes.
We love Niecy Nash.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
And Niecy got married this past, just got married. And that's like going into our topic.
Weekend.
Yeah, this past weekend, we're going to really, in keeping in the line of Black beautiful love with these amazing guests. I'm gonna cut out some of the political stuff because I think it will add a damper to what has been a very uplifting because y'all don't know, we get real controversial on here, and it can take a real dark tone with politics. But let's keep it in line with love. And I want to kind of know what your thoughts are on Niecy's new marriage, and because it kind of shook the social media world. And I actually have some thoughts on it that may be a little surprising.
Well, listen, I'm always happy when people
Find love.
Like listen, I never like to comment on details I don't know about. I don't know.
Wait a minute, hold on. I don't know much about it. I've been out in the dark. So tell me, what happened?
Well, I think it's Niecy Nash has kept her sexuality or her fluidity somewhat of a secret, which is fine. It was a surprise wedding to this musician that no one, people didn't know they were dating. People didn't know about it. The thing that kind of makes me, I guess, that makes it controversial for me is, Niecy just got divorced in March. Like, she just literally got divorced. This is Niecy Nash's, right? People don't know that, which is okay. Say it, how many marriages, Tracy? Tell her.
This is the big 3.
So this is Niecy Nash's 3rd marriage. And it kind of came out of nowhere with the divorce that just happened in March. And it just kind of makes me say, hopefully this is real love for Niecy and it's going to last. But it was a little bit suspect on Twitter. Black Twitter had a good time with this one.
It's not her sexuality that I'm concerned with. I'm concerned more with the amount of time. Like I said, the vetting of a relationship. I see some of these celebrities hop from one relationship to the next, and I just don't know if we are putting the right amount of time of healing.
Right.
Relationships cause anxiety. They cause PTSD, and I just think we should heal and learn, take some time to really study what, some of the things that we may have been doing wrong, some things we can improve upon, and even if you're not doing anything wrong, take some time for yourself to just purge that relationship.
Yeah, I think it's about an inner growth. I think that's absolutely right. I think you hit the nail on the head, because I think in any relationship, because like we said, between me and him, the fact that it's like we have to communicate so much to each other, there's so much growth. Him and I have been married for 10 years and we were dated for 5. So we've been together for over like 15 years. Do you know how much growing we've had to do in 15 years? I'm not the same person he married when we first started dating. And neither is he. He's an entirely different man. The values and the core and the foundation is the same. But we've gone through so much of just becoming adults. I mean, so I agree with that. I think that, after every relationship, that would be my thing too. I mean, maybe she did a speed healing.
But listen, some people well, no, listen.
I mean, Issa knew the first night. Issa knew the first day he met you.
That's right. I mean, he knew, but it took 5 years, girl. Sorry.
Well, listen, some people also, hey, I don't know, she might have been healing in her last relationship.
Yeah, but maybe she was healing at the same time and growing apart.
Growing apart, I don't know when she started this new relationship. She might have been growing that relationship at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why I say about the detail.
You just don't know about. You see, that's the thing. You never know what's going on behind the scenes. And as long as she had inner growth, like you said, learn from what didn't go right, learn from what wrong, and then making herself a better person, then I can't hate on it. But no matter what happens, I think that has to happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's why I started Date Yourself Girl, because I was going from one relationship to the next and I wasn't doing the healing between relationships. So I was carrying a lot of baggage, a lot of trauma into my relationships, and I'm going 7 years strong,
And so Lizzie, we talked about your cookbook, Date Yourself, Girl, is going to be Tracy's first book. And we are going to really prepare her to roll that out. I speak that manifestation, Tracy, over your life. And hopefully it's a dream in your heart. Right. That journey is one that so many women, and me and some, but many women are going through, and they need that support system. I can see Date Yourself Girl being a book, being a series of affirmations, being a Date Yourself Girl journal. I see a whole series.
It's a teacher.
A whole right. It could be a whole
That's
show.
a TV show.
And speaking of a TV show, we did have a TV show with John Gray, who is our next couple that we're talking about on this night. John Gray, I had the book of John Gray on the OWN network, and just this past week, it was revealed that he has alleged infidelity again in his marriage with his wife. Any thoughts about this situation? Especially with him being a minister.
Wait, but you said again.
This is the second incident of known infidelity or alleged infidelity against Pastor Gray.
Well, listen, I'll say this.
Yeah, what you gonna say?
In a marriage, I'll say this. You want, not blaming anybody, but listen, you have to try. This is just advice. Try to be everything you can, regardless of this speaks to it. Don't matter. You still got to be faithful no matter what. But if you can, give people their, how can I put this?
I don't know what you're saying.
Desires. I don't know what his desires were, what her desires were, but you have to be able to meet those desires. That's part of being married too.
Temptation. Wait.
Listen,
hold
that
up.
does not mean you go cheat. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. What?
I'm confused. I got a question, brother Ethan.
What?
Who desires he and his wife?
Yeah.
Or
Him and his wife have to, work together. I want them, because I don't know why he did what he did, but I'm saying maybe they can work that out, and maybe he wasn't getting something intimacy wise. That's what I mean. Come on.
Okay. No, I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you exactly what it is. John Gray did not get girlfriends when he was younger. He was picked on. You can tell he was someone who was picked on. He was bullied. And now that he has this fame, he's in the limelight. Some people let that go to their heads, especially some of these clergymen, that people idolize them. And so it is hard for some people to fight the temptation.
Walk me through what that looked like. Okay. When the woman who idolizes him is right there, but she knows he's married because he has. But walk me through what that setup looked like.
I'll tell you exactly what it looks like. I think Chicago 2006. I was shooting trapped in the closet, and my pastor, who will remain nameless, who is famous, called me into his office and said, I have to ask you to step down from your ministry leadership position because you are playing a lesbian, and we don't want to send the wrong idea to our young girls. He and the secretary and another staff member prayed over me and all of this stuff. 7 years later, the same woman that was praying for me in his office had been having an 8-year affair with him. So that's what it looks like. That is what it looks like.
That is what it looks like.
In hidden in plain sight.
Yes.
They had me thinking I was wrong for doing my job. Okay.
Candace said, "Oh hell no."
Yes, that is exactly what happened. I tell you no lies. And it just was disheartening because I looked up to this woman as well because she had held a leadership position in the church. She was well groomed, well spoken, helping to grow the church in ministry. I looked up to her. Mm-hmm. And so that's what it looks like.
Wow.
Man, see, that's wild to me.
Wow.
He out there.
I kind of, I agree with Tracy. I'm not a fan of John Gray's pastor. I'm not a fan of his word. Let me just be transparent. I'm someone who listens to lots of podcasts, listens to lots of sermons. I recognize the Sabbath, so I listen to different ministers on tape. I bought his book, I'm Number 8. I used to be a big supporter of Joel Osteen, and I appreciate what Joel Osteen came into my life at the right time. He helped me align things so that I could understand how God works in regards to bringing to fruition the truth and dreams in my heart. But I can no longer support him because of his politics. In my politics, they don't coincide.
Mhm.
But I gave John Gray a chance. I bought his book. I listened to it on tape, and I couldn't make it past the first couple of chapters. And so I immediately didn't feel a connection. I tried to watch like an episode of his show on Oprah. I know that he's a survivor of sexual abuse. I don't know to what extent that may also factor into some of the infidelity, but I do agree with everything that you guys have said about just when you are, if you choose a career in the ministry, I think that you have to sacrifice some of the carnal desires and worldly wants of your heart for the good of what God has called you to do. I also believe that when you're called to the ministry, your temptations may be stronger or greater because that's a part of God's test for you and in your life. And you have to, endure those tests. Sometimes you would fail. Sometimes you will succeed. And, his people will learn and grow from those experiences.
I mean, but if you call to the ministry or if you call to marriage, either one you call to, you gotta resist the temptation.
Now that right there that's the quote of the night.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about resisting temptation.
To me,
You're not dead. So
in 15 years of marriage, I know you both being beautiful people. You both had some temptations.
This is the funniest part, and I'm gonna be honest with you. And I don't know if it's just because he's a supermodel, but I will say this. I am so attracted to this man because he puts me first in every facet of his life.
Wow.
And so that attraction is so much deeper than just the out. Like I'm attracted to the way he treats me. I'm attracted to the way he treats my kids. I'm attracted to the way he puts my needs first. Whether that be helping not having gender roles within the house. And what I mean by that is this man will, if I make the dinner, he'll clean it up. If he gives the kids a bath, I'll read them a book. Like it's like we go back and forth. There is no like, oh no, she does that, I do this kind of thing. We work together as a team. And I'm telling you, like that is more attractive than anything in this world that you could do. If you help support my dreams, my goals, and me and my kids, and you understand who I am and you push me to be better, I am all in. And so I can be really honest. And when I say this, and I promise you, like from the bottom of my heart, I've only been attracted to him. Like I have never been tempted with anything or anyone else. Like that whole thing of the flesh. And that's what he was trying to say earlier. What he was trying to say. So let me interpret.
Oh,
okay.
I love it.
What he was trying to say is that as long as you are fulfilling the needs and desires and goals within your relationship, you will not be tempted to stray. Is what he's trying to say. And that's something that we talk about all the time. Like, we're always like, okay, what are we doing? What do you need? What am I lacking on? I got to do better on this, or I got to do better on that. You missing the boat on this one. Like we do that all the time. I mean, daily. And so I think that's what he's trying to say. It's like, you got to hit those points in your marriage so you're not tempted. Everyone is not tempted. And I think that's the misconception that people say, like, oh, we're human. So of course I'm going to be attracted to this sexy woman. I might appreciate that she's sexy and I see it and she's beautiful, and same thing with a man. Or I might be attracted to this handsome man. I might see that he's handsome and that he got things going on and that, he's successful or he looks handsome, but that don't mean I want that. I can appreciate it for that, but it doesn't mean that I want it for me.
Mm-hmm. Girl, you done preached the word over here on today. Hallelujah. I that's what I'm saying. I admire that. Like, I know we're not supposed to idolize people, but I look up to you all. So you need to know I'm watching you, because if it doesn't look and feel like that, genuine, unconditional, that 1 Corinthians 13 kind of love, like I don't want that. I don't.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you too, Tracy. Though it takes a long time to get to that place. Like, I tell my girlfriends all the time. They like tell me and they call me and they're like, but he did this. I'm like, do you know how much like mess Issa and I had to get through to say that, like, to make sure we were talking to each other in with respect and with actual like, meaning behind our words. Like, it takes a minute to get to that place sometimes. Like, it's not just instant. Now I'm saying, if he doing you wrong and it's just ill and and the girl is, doing him wrong, then y'all not meant to be together. But if y'all have a love and then y'all just trying to work out some of the details, it takes a second to get to a place, and we're still working. Like this is a work in progress, but it always will be.
Yeah.
It always will be. We'll always be figuring this out.
What was it that made you all decide this? I want to stick it out with this person. I want to go through the ebbs and flows. I want to go through the roller coaster with this person. What was it about? What was it?
I remember the day.
Okay, tell me.
We got into a fight, and not to call my mama out, but I come from a single mom of 3 kids. And my mom has been married twice, and she just, she's the type of person where she'd be like, I'm good. I'm not dealing with all this mess. I'm out. I'm taking my kids. We out. Like, we don't have to do. And so I came from that mentality that if there's an argument or whatever, I'm out. I ain't got to deal with that. And I sure as ain't going to argue with no man. I have 2 older brothers. I don't need that. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm from Detroit. I'm straight, right? Like, that's how I've always been raised. Just be very independent, super like, I got this. We got into our first fight, and I remember him looking at me, and I was like, I'm out. Like, I ain't dealing with this. I ain't about to argue with you. And he was like, please sit down and do not leave this house. We are going to figure this out right now and together. Oh. And I was like, well, I got a little time, so let's figure it out.
Since you put it that way, let me sit down.
Okay, cool. You got me. So, and we did. And that was the first time I said to myself, I was like, all right, I understand. Like, I'm starting to understand now. You have to figure it out. You cannot walk away from it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people do need breathers. I'm not saying that to bring levels down, but you got to figure it out. It takes both of you to really figure it out. Mm-hmm. And he taught me that.
Issa, what did she teach you? Like, when did you say?
Well, listen, she is still teaching me patience. So I'm just be honest. I mean, I just don't think nobody else would treat me this good. I'm just gonna be real. There ain't nobody on this planet who would treat me as good as she will.
They won't.
And I know it.
Y'all gonna make me cry.
I just know it. And I'm just like, ain't nobody gonna treat me as good.
It's profound. This is just the best episode. It's some.
I mean, I'm just being real. I mean, and somebody, it's just little stuff. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, even when she was talking about attraction earlier, like, it doesn't matter if I come in here and be like, "Ooh, yeah, girl, you look so sexy." Take my shirt off with her. But if I come in with both cars filled up with gas, she'd be like, "My God, I love you so much. You got both the cars filled up with gas. You done took the trash.
I ain't gotta help you." What's the thing that if you do this at night? One thing, if you do this at night, I'm like, whew.
We can talk about that on this live cast.
I'm about to tell you all about it. If he puts the kids down and don't ask me to brush their teeth, comb their hair, put them in their pajamas, change a diaper, read a book.
She said about 5 things. She said once the one.
One thing.
Oh, I thought, wait a minute though. The bottom line was put the kids down. I thought it was going to go in a different direction of what the one thing he does at night.
Oh,
that's at night. If he does that every night, oh my God, he got me.
I love. And how old are your children?
8, 5, and 2.
Almost 3 though.
Almost.
Wow.
Wow.
All 3 years apart.
I'm
adorable.
Yeah.
And so the last topic on the agenda tonight is that we have even though, this man has been a billionaire, I'm certain, before Forbes decided to recognize him. I definitely think this is a great moment to recognize the accomplishment of the one and only Tyler Perry, who has now joined the Black Billionaires Club, a very short list of very elite people from a variety of industries. And again, very few of them being, Black billionaires in the United States of America. So we wanted to recognize that and then open the floor also for your thoughts on this accomplishment.
I mean, what can you say? It's like,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's speechless.
I just love his story. Like, when I read his, how he got started, the amount of work he put in, the people that supported him. And I mean, listen, one of her agents told her early on in her career, and this just speaks to Tyler Perry. She said, if you can have your audience, which is, for her, Black people, and you do well with them, they will take care of you forever.
Mm-hmm.
They will stay with you forever.
We're loyal. Like, you
Yeah.
know, we're a loyal people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we're a loyal people. So he was so smart in just making sure that he always talked to us first,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and then expanded from there. But like, I mean, I'm so proud. You know, I think it's like anytime anything like this happens, and you know, especially with Tyler Perry, because he started in the Chitlin circuit. He started in a market that was like no one paid attention to, no one was thinking twice about, and he hit it hard and he hit it with commitment. And he is a true like workhorse. Like he knows how to like go in there, get the job done. I've been on his set before, and I'm telling you, like he'll change up things in a heartbeat.
Yep.
He'll like make adjustments, and he'll expect his actors to know on the stand, like on the point, like be just as sharp as he is. So he expects greatness from you because he's bringing it. And I know I'm just proud. Like you know,
That's why I can't work with him, because I know that about him, and I'm a process person. I'm like,
I know.
so I want to collaborate with the director and stuff. I want to talk about, you know, I want to say, you know, Tyler, I was thinking about things, you know, instead
He was over
of
there thinking, Tracy. He was over there like, I gotta get these billions, girl.
okay. So look, I did an episode, 2 episodes of Have and Have Nots with him, and it went by in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I got in my car in 2016 after I finished. I said, I'm gonna quit acting because I couldn't keep up with that.
Yeah.
I come from the theater. We're on stage 6 days a week, rehearsing for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Shoot the same episode. And he shoot like 5 episodes in one day. I was like, no, I can't move. So I bow to him. I think his process is amazing. It's very unique.
Yeah, it's very unique.
Look, to me, that's a part of the Black agenda that everybody is talking about, you know, about politicians need to create a Black agenda. And I'm like, no, politicians don't need to do it. The Tyler Perrys need to do it. The celebrities that have the money, the influence, the resources, they can create the Black agenda and everything else will follow them. So I think
with thought leadership from people who are beyond just entertainment, right? Because, you know, I'm very anti the Ice Cube agenda that he's released that he didn't have any Black women at the table when he and the men created the agenda. And there are issues that are affecting Black women at a disproportionate rate that should have been considered. So we do want the celebrities, we do want the people that have the money and the finance to push it. We also want some bright, brilliant thought leaders who are respected philosophers and thinkers and writers and scholars and politicians in the field to also join our entrepreneurs and our entertainers to grow it. Well, we want to have, 4 billionaires on this 3+1 podcast. So I'm going to say right here, Issa and Lizzie, because you guys were here now. So as you guys get bigger, I will always go back to this footage. And I'll say they were on 3+1,
Come back.
in 2020 when the world was changing. And we want everyone who's watching to follow both of them on social media, and which we don't really do and say follow anybody on social media often, but I'm telling you, this is a journey that you want to follow. So you want to follow Lizzie, and it's Lizzie Mathis, LIZZY MATHIS on Instagram. When you follow her on Instagram, you can then go and look at her YouTube. You can then see all the other things that she's doing, some of the work that she has going. It's a really well curated page, and it's definitely something that you need to follow. In addition, you want to follow Issa at Issa Rahman, and it's ISA RAHAN. And you want to also follow this. He has some great workouts, but it's just some great, well curated photos, and together they make a phenomenal Black lifestyle brand that is exceptionally impressive, and it's something that I think you would benefit from. I know I learned a lot from following both and seeing how you are staging and how you're putting things together, how you're creating that brand. And I would definitely be taking the pointers and telling all of my only 8,000 followers. But let me tell you something: when you follow me, I follow you back, because I have almost 8,000 followers. But guess what? I follow almost 8,000 people. So, you get the give and take with me. We have had, this is one thing that we got, Issa and Lizzie, we always do to conclude, is we give you the, Tracy, we give you the And we talk about some good news this week. It can be personal in your life, or it can be something you saw in the news. It can be something that's happening. And you said, this is something that's an uplifting moment. We also give you the down, some bad news, or something that we think you need to know about that is going to be relevant to your life. Then we give you the clown, and many times that it's your president, typically your president. He ain't my president, he's your president. He often gets a clown. This week he won't get it. And then we talk about some products that we love, some things this week that we've shared, or some products that we love that we really wanted to highlight. And so, Tracy, do you want to? I know you have a down. You want me to take the up?
Yeah, go on, take it.
I do have an up to share. So I think that this week a good up to share with everybody is indeed the Brandy and Monica versus, and the level of support both of these artists received. It was entertaining at a time when we needed. Last week was a hard week in Black America. It was a hard week for many of us. Yeah. And I know Tracy didn't talk a little bit more about that down, but we needed something to give us a mental break, to uplift us. And I know many people just went all in and truly watched this versus. So that to me is the up. I will not lie to you. I did not watch it. I didn't watch it. On Monday, I didn't watch it. On Monday, I was in spin class, and after I left my socially spin class, I clicked it, and they were doing a whole bunch of talking, so I clicked it right off. But what I did, I followed it on Twitter, and I got a lot of laughs out of the memes. I think it's very unfair how people have made fun of Monica's hat and how they made fun of her shoes. Get off my girl. I think that's not right, but I have enjoyed the laughs.
You are hilarious.
I love me some Monica and Brandy.
Yeah, me too.
Did you guys watch it?
I saw it.
Okay, and how was it?
Too much.
It was entertaining. I mean, listen, I love them both. I love their music. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Who won that? Don't lie. Be honest.
I'm biased because I've always been more of a Brandy fan than a Monica fan. But, it's just, I don't know. It's like Moesha and everything. I just can't help myself,
So, Candy said she didn't watch it. No, Candy, you were in class with me. Like, you were on the bike in the front of the class. So I know you didn't watch it. We were both on the bikes.
Hilarious.
Okay, so I think I've heard that Brandy probably did win. People have said that. I'm a Mississippi native. I'm from Mississippi, but I've been in Atlanta for a long time. So I was rooting for Monica, and that's probably why I turned it off, because I heard, I just said, I can't watch my girl lose. Do you guys have any good news to share? Some ups.
What ups do I have? I don't know either.
I mean, listen, we've been doing more brand deals this week. That's always great to get more money.
Run me my money. Run me my money.
What's up to share that we've had, or
it could be a personal up. It could be something that you've experienced this week, or realize it could be something you saw in the news, like, oh my God, I want to, or it could be somebody you want to shout out and say, so and so has done this great thing this week.
You listen to the news a lot more than I do. Go ahead, say something.
Well, listen, it's a lot. I mean,
it doesn't have to be. You don't have to.
The up this week is God is good.
God is always good. He's always right on time. Now that's an up for the day.
God is good.
You better preach that thing.
Tracy, do you have an up before we go into the down?
Yes, I went to my inspection of my new home today.
I can't wait for you to cook for me in this new home.
You and this cooking. Yes, 14 days and counting. I will be in my new home. So I'm excited.
Nice.
My first home.
I'm excited for you, Tracy.
Thank you. I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. And so, what's the up?
The up is the kids started school this week, and that's the up because now they talk to their teachers a lot more than they talk to us.
I can imagine that is an up. I actually taught a class. I did a virtual support, like for one of my teacher. I was a teacher. I was an educator, a public school educator for 17 years, and a teacher follower on Twitter was like, "I sure wish you could come and speak to my class." And so I did I was a high school teacher, high school English, but I taught her her second grade class. We read a book of Sylvester and the Magic Rock. So
that's great.
it was a fun time. It was a fun time. So Tracy, give us the down. I think your down is collected for everybody who's probably watching, and probably for everybody. So tell us about it.
Y'all, the down, and I'm gonna try not to cry because I haven't really let it out. But the down was losing the great Chad Boseman, who was a friend of mine. So it just was not a good weekend for me as well. I knew Chad back in 2000. I met him at TSU, and when we did hieroglyphic graffiti. And so I knew him as a playwright. And so when I reconnected with him in 2008, at a friend's wedding, I was like, you an actor now? And so I didn't know him as an actor, but to watch his career grow and blossom and then his life be taken out so quickly was very hard. But I will say this, I learned something from the way he lived his life. Chad is indeed, like everybody has said, he was patient, he was kind, he was humble, he was all of these things. But what I learned the most is to be private about that. It's okay, y'all. I think social media today, we think we have to share everything, every moment. And he still had a sense of regality about him. Even when he did his last video post in April, where he was looking sickly and people were bullying him and talking bad about him, he still was just giving of self to other people. And so my dad always says, we're put on this earth to serve others. And I think that's what he did. He lived his life to serve other people, just being intentional about the roles that he chose and what he wanted to put out into the world. So rest in peace, Chad Boseman, man. Love you. And we're all better because you existed. So.
I agree 100%, Tracy. That was a beautiful statement. And I think it was dead on the money for like what he represents and how he was as a person. And I'm so thankful that you were able to share that with us, as you know. And you're right. A lot of times we don't share stuff on social media, or people overshare. And I think that's an important part of what I learned from influencers like you guys is that you have to curate the message and that everything isn't for the whole world to see. Like I've gained 16 COVID pounds. I bet you ain't gonna see that on social media because every photo, baby, every photo is sucked in. You ain't gonna see that.
One more thing. Chad was shooting 42 here in Atlanta, and he and I, we spent the entire day together. We went to see Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and I got to meet Phylicia Rashad after the play, and then we went to eat with one of the other actors, and I learned a lot about the industry in TV and film because I was strictly doing theater at the time. And that night we went to a club, and I started laughing, y'all, and he was like, "What you laughing at?" And I said, "You standing in line, and people don't know you a superstar." You know what I'm saying? And that was the kind of guy he was. He said to me, he said, "I don't mind." And he just was a patient guy. He didn't care about the flash and the fame and all of that. So that I remember that weekend we spent together. He was just cool. Good.
So one thing that we also do, we go from our up and our down. Do we have a clown? Anyone with a clown this week besides, your president, who said that people are fallen soldiers in the cemetery were losers because they died in battle. That's the clowniest thing I've heard this week. And
well, listen, I have one. I'm not saying because I watch the news all the time, but I think it's his White House advisor, whatever. Man, I don't know who.
Yes.
It is, but Mark Meadows, whatever his name. He's talking about mail-in voting and fraud. And he made one comment to Don Lemon. Don Lemon said, "There's no proof that you have fraud in mail-in voting." And he was like, "But there is no proof that there isn't, so that means it's fraud." And I'm like, I just don't understand what's going on. So that's my clown for the week.
That is a clown. Was that today? Was that today or yesterday?
That was a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
See, I'm always torn between Rachel and Don. It's always a battle for me who I'm going to watch. And usually Rachel will have like a better guest lately, and I stick with Rachel. So
Oh, gotcha.
I love me some Dawn.
I am a news junkie. Don is okay, but let me tell you what I don't like. This is why MSNBC won Zach. CNN does way too much talking, way too much commenting, and I don't really want to hear their opinions. I want to see the news, and I want you can put your opinion in, but let the guest lead the opinion more so than you lead the opinion. And that's what turns me off about Cuomo and Lemon. I do like Anderson Cooper, and I watch him, but those two kind of take me away. In addition to our up, down, and the clown, we also talk about products that we love. So I want you guys to think about some products that you want to shout out. It could be a product that is sponsoring you, somebody's giving you some work, but we want you to shout them out. Tracy, you think about what you want to shout out. I am super excited to share my shout out because I think that my shout out for this week, although I have not got paid anything from anybody, but you can always pay. This just comes from the heart. Let me tell you something. Now I'm disappointed that so many people are coming into Atlanta this weekend. I'm seeing people on social media flying to Atlanta. It's a big turn up. COVID-19 is real. I hope they take precautions, but I know you're not going to. I know the clubs that you're going to are not going to socially distance, and these are super spreader events, and a number of people are going to leave with COVID-19. I pray that they don't get sick. I pray you don't get sick. I pray that you don't spread it to other people, but I'm afraid that you will. I'm leaving town. I'm getting in my car and I'm going to the North Georgia mountains.
Okay.
Way. And then when I get back, I'm going to continue to quarantine, but I'm going to do a deeper quarantine than what I usually do. Where, I'm going to get a haircut. I'm not going back to those days, but my barber's going to wear a mask for sure enough. And I'm going to have on my plastic thing because I'm going to be it. Yeah. But for those of you who are like me, so I'm getting prepared for my weekend in the mountains, and I bought my resources. And so, when I go out to the mountains and I prepare, I'm always going to drink. This is my favorite wine. This is not my product that I'm shouting out, though. It's Meiomi Pinot Noir from California. This is from California. And many people don't give California wines a lot of credit, and I understand it. This wine is the most successful brand of wine in the United States of America. And it is. You can Google it. It blew up. It went from like a startup, I want to say in 2000 and maybe it was a 6 or it may have been 16. For some reason, the number I'm not certain. But they are in $350 million profit this past year alone. They have blown up. You now see it in all the major grocery stores. Before you couldn't find it. Now it's everywhere in every state. They're famous for. I've tried all of it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like their rosé. I hate Chardonnay in general. But the Pinot Noir is the best Pinot Noir in the world. I love Pinot Noir. I've had it in Italy. I've had it, in France. This is the best. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And you can't beat it. So you get your wine for the weekend. I bought 4 bottles. I have 4 days away. I bought 4 bottles. I hope I can make it at least to Sunday night and still have some left. But I have backup just in case. I couldn't afford it. The wine isn't expensive, but I ain't got no money. So I went to buy 4 bottles today. So I got my Pinot Noir, but that's not what I'm shouting out. This is what I want to shout out to everybody. This is the big find. The big deal is this. And you may not even believe it. You may not even believe it. This is the brand new album from Toni Braxton that came out on August 28th. And I know many people are not Toni Braxton fans, and I'm not either. Zachary Kirk is not a Toni Braxton fan. I'm not like loving Toni Braxton. Oh my gosh, she's so amazing. A friend of mine said, Zach, please listen to this album. And I said, Toni Braxton, she got an album? And I got in my car and I turned it on. The first 2 songs were a little bit more upbeat, but they had a very good sound, and the whole album was congruent. I love the fact that from start to finish, it was consistent. From start to finish, you can listen, and song leads to song, and it flows like a river. And I didn't even realize I was getting another song until I'm listening to a different story in this relationship cycle. It was beautiful, it was relaxing, it was calming, and it was so well composed. I am an English teacher by trade, so I listen to lyrics and I listen to what she's talking about. Amazing. But I appreciated the sound and the beauty of her voice. Toni Braxton has never sounded better in her life. And I am so excited for you to listen to this album and let me know what you think. But I know you're going to love it because I am hard to impress. And this album, I have listened to it from the moment I got it from this morning. I went to the store. I have listened to it nonstop all day. I even went for a run and I ran to Toni Braxton. I'm excited for you to try it too.
Wow.
That is awesome.
I can't wait to listen to it.
Look, Toni need to pay you.
Okay.
Okay.
You're going to love this album. I'm excited for you guys. You're going to love this album.
I bought it.
You bought it. You don't have Spotify?
iTunes. Well, I like to support Black businesses.
Yeah,
There
that's
you
good.
go. There you go.
Well, speaking of that, mine.
Wait a minute, you don't even know if it's our turn yet.
It's your turn. Yeah, I'm done. I ain't got nothing else. Tony's all I got.
We have 3.
We got 3.
Mhm.
Oh wow. My product is Cut Buddy because she during the quarantine, she would start to cut my hair. So I'll shave it down, but then she'll line me up.
Right.
So it's this thing
all
called
this, all that's me.
it's this thing called the Cut Buddy. I know it's, but anyway, so it's I guess it's a piece a black guy developed it. He was on Shark Tank, and basically you put it on your where you want your lineup, and you draw a pencil, and they take the clippers, and anybody can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great product. Like when I tell you I love it,
Oh, wow.
I love it. It's been my best quarantine product
Yeah.
by far.
I remember Cut Buddy on Shark Tank. I remember that.
Yeah,
And it works.
it works.
It works.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Even
It's
for me.
Yeah. She ain't never cut nobody's hair.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it.
It's great.
I'm his barber.
Cut Buddy too would be a good gift to give to people as they are having birthdays during the quarantine.
Yeah.
It's gonna probably be a good stock. How much is the Cut Buddy?
It's like $15.
Yeah.
It's a great stocking stuffer as well for your friends at Christmas coming up.
Yeah.
Because it's time. I mean, it's time to shop.
She said she's gonna charge
I'm
$20.
charging $20 a cut. Come through. Okay, but I have 2 more. Okay.
Add it to the brand. Add it to the offerings of your brand.
Because you were talking about wine, I want to know if you were on with the McBride sisters.
What?
Yes. Yes, I have seen their wines, and let me tell you what I really hope. Because I'm gonna drink the wine, the black girl wines. I'm gonna drink this for the sisters, but I do want them to find some black husband wine, black man wine. Mix it up, diversify. Give us something for me, so I don't feel. I mean, I'm not ashamed to be walking around black girl wine and talking about black girl wine. But at the same time, I do feel just a little bit weird, at black girl wine. But I mean, I'm all about my womanist sisters. But at the same time, give me a black man wine too, though.
Hey, she said put it in the
You
glass
gotta
and
put
keep
that
it
thing
moving.
in a glass and keep on moving. You crazy.
But it's good. It is good.
It's good. I love their spritzers. Okay, so the other thing of mine is one of my very best friends. She has this paint company called Claire. It is black owned. It is curated paint. And so which everyone is doing now, because we're about to paint our house too. Everyone's painting, and Tracy's about to buy a new house, so she's about to paint, I'm sure. It's called Claire, Clare. She was just on Today's Show today, and it is all curated paint, and it all has cool names. And so she dumps down. You know how when you go into a paint store and you have 500 colors of white? She'll dumb it down to one cool color of white, one cool color of pink and green and blues. And she makes the experience super easy, and it's all online.
Mhm.
Her name's Nicole.
How long does it take to arrive? Do they do express shipping?
Yes, if you want to pay for express shipping, it can get to you really fast.
So I'm actually getting ready. I mean, I know you guys see these stairs in the background. I've been building up my basement studio so I can have a nice space the way that you guys have a nice space, and I can have a nice camera and some lights. And so my big red chair arrives on Monday. And so then I'll know how I want the space to look, and then I'm gonna paint it. The room is right now brown, but I'm gonna paint the room white. So I am going to order Claire paints, and I will be able to give a product testimony of Claire paint.
I think the white is called Fresh Kick.
Yeah, well, I can't get away from it. Black girl wine, Fresh Chick paint, or whatever. I'm happy to support this black business.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, what's our third recommendation?
That was it.
Cut Buddy, Black Girl Wines, and the Claire paint.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy, what do you have?
Mine is simple. Good Life Inspection Services here in Atlanta. It's a Black-owned inspector. His name is Eddie Jones and his assistant Craig. They inspected my home today. And when I tell you, from the moment I approached them to the end of the day today, they have been supreme in service, customer service, response. They were early, very thorough. And I love supporting Black businesses, especially here in Atlanta. So Good Life Inspection Services. What
and
up?
Tracy, everything went well with the inspection because one thing I realized, when I bought my first house, I was much younger and it was a different experience. Buying my second home, the inspection was a lot. It was a pre-owned home, so it was just a lot. It was a hard process.
No, it was everything was great. Like he sent me the evaluation online. Like I could look at everything. He took pictures. I can go through it. He was amazing. And Candace, they were $300 for me. If you go on their site, you'll see the price ranges that they have for the size.
And that's based on the home.
The type of home you have. I have a townhome, but yeah, man, he's smart, young, nice looking Black guy. I was like, man, if I was 10 years younger,
Are we gonna have? Does this townhome community have tennis courts?
Huh? Yeah,
tennis courts and a pool in our new community.
Yes, it has a pool, tennis court, and gym. Yeah, I'm good. And right down the little pathway is a cigar lounge, just a little restaurants and stuff. I'm in heaven. So
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for it to come over. You cook and we take it out to the pool. It's gonna be a whole experience. And I'll bring my little speaker. We can play Tony Braxton at the pool. I can't wait to
go. Drinking McBride sisters.
And drinking the McBride sisters wine. So that, yep. And Candy, you cook. I'll be right at your new place too. Candy, you're gonna come. We're gonna be your first guest. I can't vouch for Candy's COVID-19 status. I can only vouch for mine because I'm getting this, in this house every 2 weeks. So with that being said, everybody, thank you guys for joining us. Issa and Lizzie, I am so excited that God and Tracy brought you both my way so I can follow your journey, support your journey. I know that amazing things are happening. I'm just really, really excited. Like, I can't wait for the cookbook. I can't wait to see where all of this is going to go. And I know it's going to go in huge, big directions. So thank you guys for joining us.
And Lizzie,
thank you.
I just followed you, Lizzie.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to love that page.
Yeah, Zach, I'm following you today.
And I'm following you too, Zach.
I will feel very special. I really value those types of things.
Oh, we know. You called us out in the first 5 minutes.
But that's what I do. I call everybody out. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have an amazing Labor Day weekend.
You too.
You too, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.